Hello there. Welcome to Just the Discs. We talk about Blu-rays here and 4Ks, and for this little episode, I'm going to focus on a bunch of new titles from the always wonderful, always intriguing, and always putting out mostly things I've never heard of, labeled Deaf Crocodile, who are aligned with the wonderful Diabolic DVD, which is one of the great websites you should be using to pick up all kinds of boutique label goods and other physical media. I love that marriage, by the way. I think it's so neat that they're working together. So I'm going to go through a bunch of these, and there's some really cool stuff here. I'm going to start with I Married a Strange Person, which is one of a couple Bill Plympton titles they have put out. This is a Blu-ray. They, of course, put out The Tune, Bill Plympton's The Tune previously, which I think might be out of print now, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, this is a limited deluxe edition, 1,000 units. And it is a Blu-ray disc with lots of cool stuff. Their website says low stock. Now, I'm not sure if that applies to their website alone. That's deafcrocodile.com, of course, and Diabolic DVD, but you can order in both places, just so you know. So this one, I Married a Strange Person, 1997, Plympton Studios, 75 minutes, legendary animator Bill Plympton's delirious and demented feature opens with two birds mating in mid-flight. Good taste, what a dreadful thing, as the film cheekily quotes Picasso. The birdie love accidentally leads to a beam of misdirected TV satellite energy erupting a telekinetic boil on the neck of newlywed Grant, voiced by Tom Larson, which causes havoc in his marriage to his darling wife, Carrie, voiced by Karis Mikkelsen. Are you still with us? Good, because you're in for a non-stop stream of Plympton's classic surreal non-sequiturs and mind-bending visual puns involving chia pets, fingernail dirt, assaults by bugs at the dinner table, riding mower antics, and spontaneous eruptions of wonderfully deranged music, courtesy of frequent collaborator Maureen McElhuron, with lyrics like, "Would you love me if I blew up a deli, got a big fat belly, and became real smelly?" Gotta love that, really. It's the eternal question, folks. The mysteriously powerful boil on Grant's neck eventually attracts and the notice of the voracious Smiled Corp, which, by the way, once you hear the Smile Corp theme song, it will be very difficult to get it out of your head. I'm just telling you right now. It's in my head right now. I'm not even going to sing it to you because I know its power. Leading to an all-out battle for control of the wandering carbuncle. As Grant says mildly, "I'm really sorry about all that, but it's been a very weird day for me." Yeah, this is a really fascinating sort of cult movie animated thing, and I am just a big fan. You can't really see this cool yellow cover that well, but it's a very nice limited edition. Obviously comes with a book, which is great. We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, these limited editions, really nice hard boxes, very sturdy, very lovely. So this one has two classic Plympton shorts, Guide Dog from 2006, 6 minutes, newly scanned and restored for this release, and The Loneliest Stoplight, 2015, 6 minutes, narrated by Patton Oswalt. A new video interview with Bill Plympton about making of this film, moderated by Dennis Bartok of Deaf Crocodile. New commentary track by animation producer and podcaster Adam Rakoff, podcaster and film critic James Hancock, and longtime Plympton collaborator John Holderide of Plympton Studios. I'm sure that's a really cool track. I know Jamie Hancock of his podcast, and I know he was intimately involved, like it says, with Plympton, and so there's probably a lot of cool stuff there. New artwork by Beth Morris, Blu-ray authoring by David Mackenzie of Fidelity in Motion, which is always quality. Hard slipcase featuring new artwork by Bill Plympton, 60-page illustrated book with introductions by Patton Oswalt, producer writer Chris Miller of the Lego Movie, animation historian Jerry Beck, who is awesome, and who appears pretty regularly at the New Bev cartoon clubs in LA here. New essays by film critic and author Walter Chow and animation historian David B. Levy. So a really, really nice special edition of this wonderful, goofy, crazy animated film that I like very much. Then we're going to follow that with Mutant Aliens. Now, I Married a Strange Person is, what year is that? Yeah, I forgot. It's in the 90s, but I forget. Is it 96? I want to say. 97, excuse me. And then this Mutant Aliens is from 2001, so a few years later. I love that they're doing these together, so you can get some more craziness. This is a deluxe limited edition, also a Blu-ray, and comes with a book, of course, not a booklet, in a nice hard case in this limited edition packaging from Deaf Crocodile. And this one, 2001, Plimpton Studios, 81 minutes. Legendary animator Bill Plimpton's lovably twisted tribute to alien invasion films a la Quatermass Experiment, 20 Million Miles to Earth, and Mars Attacks features an American astronaut named Earl Jensen, voiced by Dan McComas, who's intentionally stranded in space by his evil boss, Dr. Frubar, voiced by George Kasdan. 20 years later, his now grown daughter, Josie, voiced by Francine Lobis, is an astronomer with some serious lust for her hunky boyfriend. Their hanky-panky is both R-rated and hilarious. I do like a good R-rated cartoon, folks. With his phallus in turns transforming into a charging rhino, steam train, and exploding volcano. Such a great pervy sense of humor Plimpton has. I love it. Their lovemaking and Dr. Frubar's evil plans are both interrupted by the unexpected return of her missing father, astronaut Earl, who reveals he apparently survived in space for the past 2 decades on a planet peopled, if that's the right word, by aliens who resemble human body parts, tongues, fingers, eyeballs, and unidentified pink blobs. As brilliantly weird as ever for Plimpton, Mutant Aliens is also surprisingly sexy. Astronaut Earl's liaison with fleshy pink alien blob queen shows that even in outer space, love knows no boundaries. Plimpton also shares with David Lynch a kind of perverse wholesomeness in his fascination with nostalgic 1950s Americana, undercut by gleefully wicked sense of the bizarre and surreal. Now, this one includes... I've never seen this one, so I've been meaning to see this for years. Very excited to check out this Blu-ray. I know it's going to look fantastic. Includes 2 classic Plimpton shorts, Hot Dog from 2008, 6 minutes, and The Cow Who Wanted to Be a Hamburger, 2010, 6 minutes. New video interview with Bill Plimpton about the making of Mutant Aliens, moderated by Dennis Bartok of Deaf Crocodile. New commentary track by producer and podcaster Adam Rakoff, podcaster and film critic James Hancock, and longtime Plimpton collaborator John Holderide of Plimpton Studio. Another track I can't wait to check out. Wrong Reel is James Hancock's podcast. Highly recommended if you haven't listened to it. Blu-ray authoring by David Mackenzie of Fidelity in Motion. New artwork by Beth Morris. Slipcase featuring new wraparound artwork by Bill Plimpton, of course. 60-page illustrated book. Introduction by Weird Al Yankovic. Essay by film critic Walter Chow. Essay by screenwriter, playwright, and film journalist Steve Peros. 1,250 copies. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Very, very excited to check this one out. This is actually going to the top of the to-watch pile. A little bit more animation here we have. So that was some Plimpton, right? Now we have Treasures of Soviet Animation, Volume 1. Okay? And this is The Pass and the Return. And Deaf Crocodile presents the first volume in a series of new restorations of classic and rare Soviet animated gems from the vaults of the legendary Soyuz Multifilm Studios. The Mystery of the Third Planet. Here I'm going to go through, looks like 3 of them that are included. Mystery of the Third Planet, Tanya Trete Planete, 1981, Soyuz Multifilm, 48 minutes, director Roman Kachanov. A trio of intrepid space explorers, Professor Selznyov, his 9-year-old daughter Alyssa, and the hilarious doom and gloom Captain Zelyany, set off in a rocket ship in the year 2181 to collect rare alien creatures from the Moscow Zoo. They're immediately drawn into an amazingly convoluted mystery involving a sinister doctor named Verkov Stev, a nearly extinct chatterbird, and 2 legendary missing cosmonauts, while galaxy hopping from one wildly colorful planet to the next. A delirious cosmic treat for fans of Fantastic Planet and Delta Space Mission, which is I'm a big fan of that release from Deaf Crocodile. Mystery features a gallery of psychedelic space creatures straight out of Yellow Submarine, based on Alyssa's Voyage by famed author Kir Bolchev Kachanov's long sought-after gem packs enough plot, surreal imagery, and otherworldly worlds into its 48 minutes for an entire miniseries in Russian with English subtitles. This, of course, comes with a nice book, and this is a Blu-ray as well. So The Return was from 1980, 10 minutes, in Vladimir Tarasov's mind-bending psychedelic masterpiece. A sleeping cosmonaut hurtles unaware towards his home planet, but will he awake in time? Newly restored by Deaf Crocodile. And, of course, The Pass, 1988, 30 minutes. On this night, Oleg was on duty near the fence. He sensed the emptiness and the routine. 3 times people went to the pass. It was all in vain. So begins Russian director Vladimir Tarasov's sublime masterpiece of animated sci-fi, in which a group of terrified human survivors on an alien world try to reach their derelict spacecraft 16 years after it crashed. On par with Tarkovsky's Solaris and Stalker as one of the most hypnotic and visually stunning science fiction stories ever filmed, The Pass is filled with cascading, pulsating images, night creatures that bleed in from the darkness to attack, a cat's eyes flickering in the candlelight, frightened children reciting stories of another planet, another time. The Pass is the longest of Tarasov's work and arguably his finest achievement, adapted from the first chapter in sci-fi author Kir Bolchev's novel The Settlement. Both films were newly restored by Deaf Crocodile for their first ever Blu-ray release, co-presented by Siegel Films in Russian with English subtitles. Special features: 2 new video essays on Roman Kachanov and Vladimir Tarasov by film historian Evan Chester. New commentary track by Adam Rakov, James Hancock, and Martin Kessler. Very excited about that. New artwork by Beth Morris. Blu-ray authoring by David McKenzie of Fidelity Motion. 1,250 units slipcase with new artwork by Holly Buck. 60-page illustrated book, including a new essay from film historian and professor Jennifer Lynn Barker, as well as a new essay by film critic Walter Chow, who is all over these, which is very exciting. Very good writer on the films. Okay, then we have The Tragedy of Man next. And this is also a Blu-ray. The Tragedy of Man. So this one is from 2011. 160 minutes. An incredible 23 years in the making. The Tragedy Man is the legendary Hungarian animator Marcel Jankovic's Son of the White Mare. If you haven't seen that, that's another great release. You should check out. Sprawling kaleidoscopic masterwork, a seemingly endless animated scroll of Gorgon-like demons, cave paintings that spring to life, barbarian warriors, bejeweled pharaohs, knights and martyrs, and prophets bleeding together. One brutal age dissolving into another and another, all of human history passing like pages in a flipbook, adapted from the dramatic poem by 19th century author Imre Manek that's often compared to Goethe's Faust and Milton's Paradise Lost. The Tragedy of Man is no children's cartoon. It's one of the most visually stunning and wildly ambitious animated epics ever made, and then some. Out of the galactic void at the beginning of the story emerges Lucifer the Devil, a great-winged bat, Anubis, the antagonist who adopts many faces and forms as it guides and manipulates the characters of Adam and Eve throughout history, searching for the purpose of human existence, if there is one. Broken into 15 different episodes, the segments were produced one at a time by Jankovic as he cobbled together the funding. Each section has a different visual style, incorporating mind-blowing tapestry of world art, cultures, symbols, and rituals. In ancient Egypt, the bodies of the slaves become literal building blocks of the pyramids. In ancient Greece, the background shatters like broken pottery. In Rome, mosaics of gladiators come to life, slashing at each other. In the Middle Ages, arguing zealots are transformed into Orthodox churches, clashing against one another as they crumble. The sum total of Jankovic's cosmic vision of human progress, in quotes, is utterly surreal, psychedelic, operatic, and Wagnerian. A breathtaking Hieronymus Bosch-like triptych of hell on earth with a brief glimpses of grace and love, which may offer hope for the future. As Adam, in the guise of German astronomer Johannes Kepler, whispers, "In this world I have need of nothing except the night and shining stars, the secret harmony of the spheres," in Hungarian with English subtitles. New video interview with key animator Paraska Martsa and background artist István Oraz, moderated by Dennis Bartok of Deaf Crocodile. New video interview with Georgi Raduli, director of National Film Institute, NFI Film Archive, on the history of Hungarian animation and the career of Marcel Jankovic, moderated by Dennis Bartok. New visual essay by Evan Chester. New commentary track by animation producer, podcaster Adam Rakoff, podcaster, film critic James Hancock, and filmmaker and podcaster Martin Kessler. Very cool. These guys are great. I'm excited to see them on 3 of these releases. Blu-ray authoring by David Mackenzie of Fidelity in Motion. New art by Beth Morris. Deluxe bonus content, new slipcase illustration by Beth Morris, 60-page illustrated book, including a new essay by PEN Award-winning historian and esoteric author Mitch Horowitz, and a new essay by film critic Walter Chow. He's back again. Good stuff, folks. That is The Tragedy Man. And we have a few more here. We have Freckled Max and the Spooks. And this one, again, I've not heard of a lot of this stuff. This is from 1987, a Slovak Film Institute production, 97 minutes, directed by Juraj Jakubisko. It all began under the Frankenstein Castle. It was my 10th year in this circus troupe, and we were passing through a bleak territory of vampires, will-o'-the-wisps, and water sprites, observes young orphan Martin Herebin. Just before he runs away and hides out in the ruins of a nearby castle. There he discovers rogues gallery of lonely monsters who've made it their home, gruesome but lovable Elaj, the marvelous Ferdinand Maine as Count Dracula, a wonderful whiskey-voiced Vivica Lindfors as the Countess Frankenstein, Gerhard Karzel as the irresistibly goofy Frankenstein's monster named Albert, along with a ghostly white lady, Elizabeth Bathory, and other assorted phantoms. A bittersweet slapstick cross between Monster Squad, Young Frankenstein, and the Island of Misfit Toys. Freckled Max is a nostalgic gothic fairy tale about broken hearts and monsters who long to be loved for who they are, and a truly delightful discovery for genre fans, acclaimed for his early role as one of the Czechoslovak new wave directors, and later films such as The Millennial Bee and The Feather Fairy, starring Fellini's muse Giada Messina. Slovak director Juraj Jakubisko, 1938 to 2023, adapted his miniseries Frankenstein's Aunt into the feature version Freckled Max, filled with Jakubisko's trademark surrealism and haunted poetry, including eerie shots of a bat-winged Dracula flying over a mountain, like straight out of Nosferatu. Nosferatu. The film is also a joyous comic treat. What makes Freckled Max so memorable and heart-tugging, though, are the unexpected moments of sadness with orphaned monsters and their orphaned human friend. When someone ends up alone, he turns into a ghost, as Count Dracula sighs. Beautifully restored by the Slovak Film Institute for the first ever Blu-ray release in the U.S. through Deaf Crocodile Films and Comeback Company in Slovak with English subtitles. Special features include a film about a film, 1986, 5 minutes, Rudolf Furco, fascinating behind-the-scenes look at the making of the miniseries and Freckled Max feature, portrait of a film director, 1989, 42 minutes, beautiful and moving portrait of Jakubisko shot during the making of his film, Sitting on a Branch, I Am Fine, and featuring interviews with the legendary Federico Fellini. 3 new video interviews. Jan Duras, director of photography, 27 minutes. Petra Galkova, assistant director, 18 minutes. Rastislav Staranka, director of the National Cinematographic Center of the Slovak Film Institute, 17 minutes. All directed by Robert Sulak. All of the above bonus features in Slovak with English subtitles. Frankenstein's Faster or Frankenstein's Aunt, the novel that became Freckled Max, a new video essay by journalist and physical media expert Ryan Verrill of The Disconnected, good friend of mine. If you're not already checking out The Disconnected, what's wrong with you? That is the best physical media channel out there. Certainly better than mine. That said, I'm excited to see this new video essay from him. New commentary track by film historian Sam Deegan. New artwork by Beth Morris. Blu-ray authoring by David Mackenzie of Fidelity in Motion. Hard slip with new illustration by Steve Thomas. 60-page illustrated book with essays by screenwriter, playwright, and film journalist Stephen Peros and film critic and author Walter Chow. Very cool stuff. Very excited to check this one out as well. Yeah, I mean, this just looks kind of fascinating to me. Fans of Universal Monsters seems like something you might be into. Sounds pretty weird and pretty interesting. So that is Freckled Max and the Spooks. And then lastly, we have Inflatable Sex Doll, which I may have to just show the... let's see if the inner artwork is any less risque. Yes, far less risque. We'll put that up there. But this is, of course, the limited slip box that I'm talking about. And this film is from 1967, a inflatable sex doll of the wastelands. 86 minutes. Every day at 3 o'clock, I've been killing you in my daydreams, murmurs low-rent hitman Sho, haunted by the death of his girlfriend 5 years earlier and seeking revenge on the gangster who killed her, and director-writer Atsushi Yamamoto's eerie, seedy, and dreamlike noir with fractured time-bending overtones of John Borman's Point Blank and Christopher Nolan's Memento. Yamatoya co-wrote Seijun Suzuki's Branded to Kill, released the same year as this, and the films are companion pieces in many ways, subversive and jarring with strange flashbacks, inexplicable dialogue and song lyrics. My burning dum-dum goes flying, bites the enemy's neck. Inserts that shatter the fourth wall, and a dissonant free jazz score. This sounds fascinating. Produced by Keiko Sato, one of the few female producers in the underground Japanese pink film genre, the absurdly titled Inflatable Sex Doll is comparable to similar movies by American erotic auteurs Russ Meyer and Radley Metzger at their most art house. That's interesting. The feverish S&M vibe and lurid black and white photography is like a junkie's smack-induced nightmare, basically the cinematic equivalent of listening to the Velvet Underground's Venus in Furs and Sister Ray, recently rescued from the only surviving 35mm elements by Rapid Eye Movies in Germany and newly digitally restored by Craig Rogers of Deaf Crocodile. Very cool, Craig. New commentary by film historians Arnie Venema and Mike Leader. New video interview with film professor Alexander Zoltan on the pink film subgenre in Japanese cinema. New video essay by journalist and physical media expert Ryan Verrill of The Disconnected, and film professor Dr. Will Dodson. Two dudes I like very much. Blu-ray authoring by David Mackenzie of Fidelity Motion. New reversible wrap art by Beth Morris. Slipcase new illustration by Tony Stella. That's pretty cool. I do want to highlight that again. Tony Stella art is very, very cool art. New essay by film historian Alexandra Heller-Nicholas. This is in the 60-page illustrated book. New essay by Japanese film expert and musician Chris D. New essay by film critic Walter Chow. And interview conducted with producer Keiko Sato of Kuke Films, conducted by producer Hiromi Ahira of Biwiz. This sounds really fascinating, folks. This was one that I wasn't sure how it was... I mean, that title is ridiculous, but then hearing all these comparisons to Russ Meyer and to Seijun Suzuki and such, and Black and White, and I'm going to put that on the gotta be watched soon pile as well. Anyway, check out everything Deaf Crocodile at deafcrocodile.com. And of course, always check them out and order their stuff from Diabolic DVD, which is a great resource, as I've said before. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.